Your brain is lying to you right now. Not about facts, about scale. You think the thing stressing you out matters. You think the presentation tomorrow, the text you shouldn't have sent, the money you don't have. You think these things are problems at the level your nervous system is treating them. They're not. Your amygdala, the almond-sized alarm system in your brain, can't tell the difference between a performance review and a predator. It fires the same cortisol cascade for both. It treats your boss's disappointed face like a survival threat. But here's what your amygdala will never understand. You are a collection of atoms that briefly organize themselves into a pattern capable of worry, standing on a rock hurtling through infinite emptiness at 67,000 miles per hour. And the thing making you anxious? It will not matter. Not because you'll fix it, not because you'll fail and recover, but because mattering itself is a story your brain tells to keep you scanning for threats. The question isn't how to solve your problem. The question is, why are you letting a 3-pound meat computer convince you that temporary discomfort is a catastrophe? You don't have an anxiety problem. You have a scale perception disorder. Your brain evolved in an environment where every social rejection could mean exile from the tribe, which meant death. Every resource scarcity could mean starvation. Every status threat could mean violence. So your default mode network, the brain's background operating system, runs a continuous threat assessment program. It scans your environment for anything that could harm your survival or social standing. Here's the problem. That system was built for a world that no longer exists. You are not going to die if your date goes badly. You are not going to starve if you get passed over for the promotion. You are not going to be exiled from the village if you stumble over your words in the meeting. But your amygdala doesn't know that. It treats every potential embarrassment, every financial setback, every relationship tension like a life or death scenario. It floods your system with cortisol and adrenaline. It narrows your attentional spotlight to the threat. It makes you ruminate, catastrophize, rehearse worst-case scenarios. This isn't a bug in your wiring. It's a feature that's wildly miscalibrated for modern life. And here's where it gets worse. The more you worry, the deeper you carve that worry circuit. Neurons that fire together wire together. Heavy in learning. Every time you rehearse the disaster scenario, you're training your brain that this thing is worth obsessing over. You've practiced anxiety so many times it's become your default response to uncertainty. Let me show you what this looks like. You're lying in bed, it's 2 a.m. You have a client presentation in 6 hours. Your brain is running the same 90-second loop for the 4th hour straight. What if I forget the numbers? What if they ask the question I can't answer? What if they think I'm incompetent? Your heart rate is elevated, your jaw is clenched. You're sweating even though the room is cool. Now zoom out. You are one of 8 billion humans on a planet that's existed for 4.5 billion years. The universe is 13.8 billion years old. The presentation you're worried about will last 30 minutes. In 3 weeks, your client won't remember most of what you said. In 3 years, they won't remember the meeting happened. In 100 years, everyone in that room will be dead. But right now at 2 a.m., your amygdala is treating this 30-minute event like your life depends on it. It's dumping cortisol into your bloodstream. It's keeping you awake. It's making you mentally rehearse failure scenarios that statistically probably won't happen. This is the scale perception disorder in action. Your brain has taken a temporary event with minimal long-term consequences and elevated it to existential threat status. Wait, let me show you the second layer. Even if the presentation goes badly, even if you freeze, forget the numbers, lose the client, your brain is wrong about what that means. It's not the end of your career. It's not proof you're incompetent. It's not a permanent mark on your record. It's a data point, one outcome in a career that will contain thousands of outcomes. Some good, some bad, most forgotten. But your brain doesn't process it that way. Your brain processes it as identity-level evidence. This means I'm a failure. That's the real problem, not the presentation. The fact that your default mode network has conflated a single event with your entire sense of self-worth. Here's what's happening in your brain when you're stuck in this loop. Your amygdala, your threat detection system, has flagged the upcoming event as dangerous. It sends a signal to your hypothalamus, which triggers your sympathetic nervous system. Cortisol and adrenaline flood your bloodstream. This is the stress response. It's supposed to be temporary. It's a burst of activation to help you fight or flee a predator. But you can't fight or flee a presentation. You can't resolve the threat in the moment. So your brain does the next best thing. It tries to simulate every possible version of the threat to prepare you. This is where your default mode network takes over. The DMN is a network of brain regions that activate when you're not focused on an external task. It's responsible for self-referential thought, mental time travel, and, critically, rumination. When the DMN combines with an amygdala threat signal, you get worry. Worry is mental rehearsal of future threats. It's your brain trying to solve a problem before it happens. The issue? Most of what you're worrying about is unfalsifiable. You can't disprove it until the event occurs. So you loop, you simulate the disaster. You feel the emotional response. That emotional response reinforces the threat signal. The amygdala stays activated. The loop continues. This is why telling yourself just stop worrying doesn't work. You're trying to use prefrontal cortex logic to override a subcortical alarm system. The amygdala doesn't speak language. It speaks threat and safety. Now picture this. There's a study from Kahneman and Tversky, the architects of loss aversion, showing that humans feel losses roughly twice as intensely as equivalent gains. Your brain is wired to weigh potential bad outcomes more heavily than potential good outcomes. This made sense when one bad outcome could kill you. But now? It means you're walking around with a negativity bias that distorts your perception of risk. You overestimate how bad things will be. You underestimate your ability to recover. The anxiety isn't proportional to the actual threat. It's proportional to your brain's distorted model of the threat. Here's the protocol. This is what you do the next time your brain tries to convince you that a temporary problem is a catastrophe. Step 1, the cosmic zoom. When you notice the anxiety loop starting, literally zoom out in your mind. Picture yourself in the room where the stressful event will happen. Now zoom out, see the building. Zoom out further, see the city. Keep going, see the state, the country, the continent, the planet. Now keep going, see Earth from orbit. See it from the moon. See the solar system. See the Milky Way galaxy, like a spiral of 100 billion stars. And you're on one planet orbiting one star in the outer arm. Do this for 30 seconds. This isn't metaphor, this is perspective recalibration. You're manually giving your brain the scale context that your amygdala is incapable of processing. Name it, cosmic zoom. Do it every time the spiral starts. Step 2, the mortality filter. Ask yourself, will this matter in 5 years? Not could it matter, or might it cascade into something that matters? Will this specific thing you're worried about be something you remember or care about in 5 years? If the answer is no, you've just identified a scale perception error. Your amygdala is treating a 5-day problem like a 5-year problem. Say it out loud. My brain is treating this like it's bigger than it is. This isn't minimizing your feelings. This is correcting the distortion. Step 3, the outcome decoupling. Your brain is fusing the event with your identity. You have to manually separate them. Write this sentence down. This event is not evidence of my worth. Then write the worst-case scenario. Actually write it. I freeze during the presentation. I lose the client. Now write what happens next. I apologize. I debrief with my manager. I prepare better for the next one. I move on. You're training your brain to see that even the worst case doesn't end in catastrophe. It ends in recovery. It ends in a next step. Step 4, the rewiring repetition. This is the Hebbian part. You have to practice this enough times that it becomes your new default. Every time you catch yourself in the anxiety loop, run the protocol. Cosmic zoom, mortality filter, outcome decoupling. You're not trying to eliminate the anxiety. You're trying to change your relationship to it. You're teaching your brain, this feeling is data, not truth. The goal is not to never feel stressed. The goal is to stop letting your amygdala dictate how much weight to give that stress. Here's the part nobody tells you. The freedom isn't in solving the problem. It's in realizing that most of what you're anxious about won't matter once it's over. And the stuff that does matter, you'll handle it. You've handled everything that's happened to you so far, you're still here. Imagine waking up tomorrow. Same problems, same uncertainty, same stakes. But the dread is gone. Not because anything external changed, but because you stopped letting your amygdala run the show. You stopped treating every discomfort like a crisis. You stopped fusing your identity with outcomes you can't fully control. You're still on a rock floating through infinite space. The difference is you remember that now. And remembering that changes everything. If this landed, if you felt something shift, subscribe to this channel. Not for more content, but because subscribing is an act of defiance. It's you telling your default mode network, I'm choosing to rewire, I'm choosing to interrupt the spiral. I'm done letting outdated threat programming dictate how I experience my life. You're here for a cosmically brief amount of time. The thing you're worried about, it will pass. You will pass. Everything will pass. The only real mistake is spending this sliver of consciousness in a constant state of alarm over things that won't matter once they're over. Stop rehearsing disaster. Start rehearsing perspective. Your brain will resist. It's been practicing anxiety for years. You've got to practice something else now. Welcome to Unlearning Poor. Let's rewire.